Hello, everyone. This is episode 4 of Speed Talk. Today I'm joined by Hex
Up.
and Odme.
Hi.
And yeah, Hex and Odme, two very, very well-known people in the Multi-Mario community. Really, really cool guys. I'm just going to kind of talk about their journey in the speedrunning community today. We'll talk about some 602 stuff, Multi-Mario stuff, pace, all sorts of fun things. So to start off, I guess we'll start off with Hex. Just go through, I guess, like your journey in the speedrunning community a bit. How do you go from where you were like 5 years ago to wherever you are now? And yeah.
That's actually, I feel like there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
So I got involved with speedrunning when I think it was in middle school. It was like 7th grade. And so at that time, I think I was like 11 or 12. I don't even think I was like
Twitch.
allowed. Well, okay. I wasn't on Twitch. I was only on Twitch when I was 13. So I've always been on Twitch when I was 13. Never before I was 13. Let's just get that perfectly clear.
Yeah, we already know this arc.
That's the same for me too. Yeah.
We had to deal with this like a few months ago.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was rough. More on that later for sure. I actually started off by watching GDQ. I thought it was really cool that people could do speedruns in front of audiences and they could like almost praise them, which I don't know. For me, like, growing up, I never had friends who played like the same games as me. They were always playing like COD or something, and I was playing Mario, Sonic, and so yeah, no one really cared. Like that was kind of sad, but I got used to it. And then I found like a subset of people who actually did care, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And so ever since then, I got more into speedrunning. I decided to give speedrunning a try midway through my 7th grade year. And I'm really glad I did because it got me here. I started off actually with Sonic before Mario. I was not a Mario runner at first. I did Sonic, the two Sonic adventure games. Unfortunately, I was younger. I was a lot more cringe and not many people liked me. But I eventually took like a 2-year break and I came back and, with a new mindset and new understanding of like just how life worked. And
Hey, you found a skip though. You found
I did find a skip. Not many people can say that they've found a skip before.
I can.
Okay, no, but like it was really cool, just the growth and coming back, doing speedrunning and streaming like the right way. And stuff really clicked and it worked out and now we're here.
Nice. All right, well, moving over to Odme, kind of go through your journey, I guess.
Well, I think I was probably around the same age as Hex was when he started. I was probably in about 7th or 6th grade, middle school around that time. I think the first time I really saw a real speedrun was also GDQ with Tofu running Sunshine at SGDQ 2013. But the first time I really attempted a sort of speedrun on my own was actually in my, Hex is gonna hate me for this, but in my 7th grade math class, I didn't want to pay attention at all. So I would go on any website that was unblocked by my school's internet, and I would play. There was a fan game called Super Mario 63. I loved that game when I was way younger. So I just like played it in the middle of class, and I found out that you could beat the game in like 10 minutes because you could just skip straight to the end. So I would just do that in my math class when I was like, dude, I don't want to do any of this.
Dude,
like I just want to play Mario. So I would just do that during class, and that was like technically my first speedrunning endeavors. You can actually find it on my profile. It's still there. My SM63 runs are on speedrun.com from 2015. But I think like that 2015 was after I had started running like the Multi-Mario games, but the first time I really took speedrunning more seriously was when I picked up SMS Mario Sunshine in late 2014 probably, because that's when I found 360 Chrism and the 602. That was like my introduction to the speedrunning community, really, because GDQ and SM63 were more just like doing it for myself. I was like, oh, that seems like a neat way to pass the time. But I didn't know there were so many other people that did this and just talked to each other about it until I found out about the 602 in 2014. So I ran SMS, and then a few months later I picked up SM64. The only way I could play that game was on an emulator with keyboard because I just didn't I didn't have access to anything like that at the time until I got my Wii U in like May 2015. So I got that game on Wii U Virtual Console. Don't run SM64 on Wii U because it sucks. There's like half a second of input delay. It's really bad. But I played on that until like 2019 when I got a Wii again. But later on in 2015, I started running the Galaxy games, and then that's when I attempted my first 602. Didn't really get very far because my estimate was like 32 hours, and I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I quit probably 60 stars in. I was like, there's no point. But then over the next 6 months after that, I decided to actually like get pretty good at all the games, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then 2017 Odyssey came out, and that was at a time where I was kind of feeling less motivated for speedrunning. I was kind of just bashing my head into a wall with SMS any percent at the time. I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I hope Odyssey's good because like I don't know what the future holds in terms of speedrunning. Odyssey comes out and it revived my love for speedrunning. Like that game took over my life for a good 4 or 5 months. It was the only thing I ran. I did do a 602 because the race was like 2 months after it came out. I didn't even PB that 602 because I had like a week to derust all the games because I was only playing Odyssey. But yeah, that was a rough time. And then I went right back to Odyssey and just only played that. And then that was pretty much the last time a speed game of that caliber really hooked me. But ever since then, I've dabbled in more speed games. I've actually started to pick up Sonic Adventure DX, the game that Hex started out with, because I saw him do like one run last week, and I was like, this seems really easy to learn. I just want to do it because I've ran Sonic Adventure 2 before. I still do on and off, but not very often. So. And
then we got to run Sonic Heroes, and then we can race 430.
Nope, never happening. I hate that game.
I'll get him eventually.
Yeah, I'm mostly in the Sonic sauce now, but Mario always finds his way back into my heart.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll ever be truly done with Mario for a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's kind of where I'm at now, is just a mix of Mario and other things.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, I kind of envy you for being able to pick up other speed games, because, I mean, since Odyssey came out, that's kind of all I've been doing since 2017, 2018, so it's an addicting game for sure. The movement is just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Odyssey, I played it nonstop for pretty much all of, like, the first half of 2019, probably, or first half of 2018, and then after that, I was like, okay, I need a break. I'm getting burnt out. So I went back to playing the other Mario games with Odyssey somewhat on the side. 2019 comes around, and I kind of get this resurgence for it because I started running All Moons more. And then I go back to any percent for a bit to get a 101. I do that on the same day that Nitro got sub-hour, actually. I got my 101. I was like, yes! Finally, I can, like, stop playing 80% for a bit. Later that day, Nitro gets sub-hour. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do anything with this game for a while, because I was still a mod at the time for the game, and I think when sub-hour happened, that was when I was like, okay, I think I can put down the community and game for a while. Like, I don't really... Sub-hour is what everyone was building up to since the game came out, so once that happened, I was like, yeah, that's kind of closing a chapter on this game. I think I can take a step back. And then 2 years later, I come back in 2021, I'm like, school's taking over my life. I don't really have time for the longer Mario games. So I'll go back to Odyssey and go for a sub-hour.
Oh, I remember this grind. This grind was amazing.
So I was like, I don't really know what else to play. I guess I'll just play Odyssey. And then I really don't know what got me to go for sub-hour of all things. I think it was the fact that my PB was so outdated, and 1.3 also came out right after, and it saved so much time, so I was like, man, I'm kind of sitting on a big time save that I haven't really gotten. So I came back to that, spent 5 months straight playing nothing but SMO, going for a sub-hour. Probably the most committed I've ever been to a grind. I don't think I even once considered giving up, which is a crazy thing, because whenever I try to grind for a time in a speed game, I always doubt myself at times. But with sub-hour, I was like, I'm not giving up. I want to get this. And then eventually in May, I finally did do it, and I was like, I'm never playing this game again. And then, of course, I proceeded to go back and do all moons and get like a sub 750, I think is my current PB, 749, yeah. And then after that happened, I was like, okay, I'm done. So I don't really grind Odyssey anymore. I think I'm completely retired from that game as far as going for PBs. But I'll still pick it up to do like a race or no reset every now and then, because it's such a fun game for races. But
Yeah,
as far as grinding it goes, I think I'm definitely done with Odyssey.
I actually remember when Odme got his sub-hour, I was in a lifeguard training class, and I checked my phone, and I saw that he got sub-hour, and I was like, dude, dude, when he was going for sub-hour, I was in his chat like every day. And I don't remember if I was being like a shitter or if I was just like being normal. I was in his chat every day. And the one day that I had like a lifeguard certification, bro got the sub-hour. I was so pissed.
But yeah, that Odyssey arc is definitely over now. But it's still an amazing game. It's my favorite game of all time, casually. And as far as speedrunning goes, it will always be in like my top 3, along with 64 and Sunshine. So nothing but love for Odyssey. But as far as me actually grinding the game goes, I think it's definitely done.
Yeah. I mean, you
Fair.
got sub-hour pretty early on, too. Like, there's probably like half as many sub-hours as there are now back when you got it. So there's like 80 or 90 now.
I can actually check. That's a cool thing about SRC is you can check the leaderboards on a certain date.
Oh, I did not know that. That's
so I can actually check what place my PB was when I got it. Now I'm 70th place because everybody's just gotten so good since then.
Yeah, I'm also 70th place. I'm pretty sure we're tied.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
Let's see here. May of 2021. I think it was May 15th that I got it, so I'll do that. Let's see. This leaderboard takes forever to load.
Yeah. Dude, I hate the SRC. Like, it's not really an update anymore. It's like a year old, but I miss like whenever there's a lot of categories, just being able to like click on one. Now it's like a drop down box, and for some reason my computer just like if I click on one, it just doesn't do anything sometimes. It's so weird.
I love SRC.
Yeah.
End date. That's what I was supposed to do. Okay, now I gotta scroll up. Okay. Let's see. What place was I when I got this? I was 24th place when I got my sub-hour.
Yeah.
So, over the course of 3 years, I've kind of gotten my ass kicked.
Yeah, now we're almost at the point where you need 57 for that placement. So
yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's kind of crazy. But it's insane, the resurgence of just like people like getting sub-hour. Like I was going for the 69th sub-hour at the end of last year, and then like 3 random people just like beat me to it one day, and I had never heard of them before. It's so many just random people pop up nowadays.
Yeah, as cool as it is to see Odyssey get even more optimized and Tyron just keeps pushing it down and pushing it down, I will always have nostalgia for like the first year of Odyssey's life, because when that game came out, like everybody was running it. Like you could not meet a single person in the speedrunning community that wasn't playing Odyssey when it came out. It was a phenomenon. Like I don't think I don't think the next 3D Mario will even be as big as Odyssey was when it came out. It might. Like, you never know.
I really hope it is.
Odyssey was something special.
Dude, even I was speedrunning Odyssey when it came out offline. I was doing fucking offline runs, which is crazy. Like, everybody was speedrunning that game. And, you know, in a way, like, it definitely, like, kept my speedrunning passion alive. But, you know, minor confession. This is, like, this is a confession for the people listening to the podcast. So you're only going to get this little tidbit if you listen to the podcast. Zach, you can use it to advertise. Don't worry.
Right.
The never before heard secrets of HexSpeedruns. So when I ran Odyssey, and even like SM64, I used to pause my timer whenever I made a mistake.
Dude,
I mean, I wasn't recording anyways. I was doing it offline, and I'm like, fuck it. I mean, might as well. So I would pause my timer, and that ended up netting me a 122 in Odyssey.
Oh,
a 122 in Odyssey and a 112 in 70 star SM64. And everyone was like, yo, you're so, like, yo, like, we thought you were shit. Like, I had people coming up to me being like, dude, I thought you were ass at video games. And I'm like, bro, what can I say? Like, I'm the GOAT. But then, you know, in actuality, I was pausing the timer. Now, obviously, I mean, I beat the PBs with no pauses in the timer, which I think is, acceptable. But I just think that's like a little like tidbit of lore. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Pretty funny.
actually I have a similar experience when I think I was probably like 10 or 11, because when Odyssey came out, I think I was 11. And just like I didn't join the community till like 2020, thank God. But when I remember I was somewhere and I was playing handheld, and my run was so bad, and then I think for like all of Ruined and Bowser's Kingdom, I just paused the timer because it was annoying me. And then I ended the timer, it was like 103. I was like, Mom, look, I got 103. Look,
Oh my
I'm
God.
like 20th place. But obviously I never did that in the actual community. It was only offline. But yeah, when you're younger, like you just do that. I feel like it's yeah.
I don't know. I feel like when you're younger, you have this thing or this like expectation, and maybe this is the way it works, but I've always, when I was younger and when I was so I used to be named Hexaforce. That's when I was really cringe. Odme, don't smirk. Don't smirk. Stop. Hexaforce is my old name. HexSpeedruns is my rebrand that I did in 2020, and that's pretty much who everyone knows me as. Only a select few know me as Hexaforce, and they're not really in the Mario community mostly. But I feel like when you're younger, you think like, oh, if you get a really good time, like people will want to be friends with you. When in actuality, that's not really how it works. Like you can't just like buy respect or like friendship with like your time. But when I was younger, I used to think that was like the way it worked. So I would try to like bop people out of spite so that they would like respect me. But I didn't. That's just not how it works. Stop! Don't say that's insane. Okay, you're not one to be talking about bopping people out of spite. Don't even get me started on the 30928 S&P 20% Shadow 64 Bob. I don't want to hear it.
God. No, me and Hex could talk about our history in 2020
we could. I
for
think
like the entire podcast if we wanted.
We could give a brief summary for Zach and the people listening.
All right.
Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
I think we can save it for a little bit.
We can save it for a little bit? Okay.
All right. Well, I could throw this out there, but in the Odyssey community, in the last couple years, not to name any names, but there are definitely a few people that have been lying about their PBs, and they always it's so obvious. It is.
We know. Like trust me. There's definitely people who have the times that they have, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's some tomfoolery afoot.
And then those people will always go and DM like all the top runners like immediately. They just joined the community. They're like, look, I have a 58, I have a 57. Like, it's such a not smart way to go about getting people's respect, because in the long run, you're just
shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you're not gonna be able to ever become friends with the top runners if that's what you do at the beginning. So I've noticed that like a decent amount with a lot of the newer people coming in the community. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching this podcast, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't DM Tyrone and tell him you have a 57 if he hasn't heard of you before.
Dude, I love Odyssey Twitch chatters. I was doing a stream. I was speedrunning Sunshine just to already give you like how absurd this is. I was just playing Sunshine, doing a run. In the middle of my run, somebody comes into my chat and was like, yo, did you see Tyrone got 56? And I was like, cool, good for him. And then I kept playing. I was like, what do you want me to say?
Dude, you gotta start popping off for him, man. Come on.
Yeah, you have to go like, what? No way, I have to see this. Scour the
Stop
internet for
everything and watch it.
Yeah, pause the timer. Yeah, Odyssey community is it's something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, the more I grew up, the more I'm like, okay, it's just like some kid. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
I always like to joke that the average age of a top 10 SMO speedrunner is like under 18.
I mean,
which for a while it was. It might still be.
For a while.
I'm
not sure. Maybe,
now,
but like, it's an
two.
interesting amount.
Yeah. I think
a lot of them.
There's definitely like I would say under 20 is probably like half the top 10. Under 18, probably like 2, I think. I know VGR is like 15 or 16.
And
16.
Tyron's like 50.
Yeah, Tyron's like ancient, basically. Did you guys see when he walked into Summer Pace?
No, I didn't.
Dude,
I was there when he not really when he walked in, but I did see him when he was there on his first day, and he had a whole fucking crowd around him, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother saying hi to this man. I'm just gonna wait.
Dude,
and like the next day, I was like trying to set up a monitor or something because it was making my game really small, trying to play 64, and I was like, how the hell do I fix this? Tyron walks up to me and was like, yo, let me help you with that. I was like, oh shit.
Bro said, oh shit.
Dude, yeah, it was
because like he was also there with like Chaos and Lucid, so I got to meet those guys too.
Yeah,
it was a nice moment.
I'll be honest, I was scared to go up to Tyrone. Like I don't know why.
I
like
say hi to him because he had 50 people crowding.
Yeah, like I always get scared when it's like those guys. Like there's like really popular people. But the way me and Tyrone first saw each other is we ran into Lucid, Tyrone, and Chaos at the hotel, and I just like opened the elevator and there was Tyrone. So I kind of got my chance to say hi to him while he was like by himself. So that was cool, or at least not by himself, but like with a couple other people. And so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, dude, the moment
and I don't know, it's still interesting. Like no matter how big you get as a streamer, like I feel like there's still like that scariness of going to say hi to some people.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely depends on the person.
Yeah, the moment he walked in though, it was like so electric. Like Lucid, Chaos, and Tyrone, I think all walked in at the same time. Every Odyssey runner, we had like 4 rows at that point because everyone else was there. Every Odyssey runner just stood up and just starts like walking their way over to Tyrone. And next thing I know, I'm in the middle of a crowd of like 50 Odyssey runners on the first day of Pace. It's like crazy. And everyone's just trying to get their chance to say hi to Tyrone real quick. It was an insane moment.
That was definitely one of the moments ever.
Yeah, it was crazy. It felt like everyone just started like it was like hypnotized, like just walking towards Tyrone like zombies.
It's that Italian aura.
Yeah.
Dude.
We all just wanted to meet the Italian.
Deku has it too in the Sonic community.
Okay, no, that's true. It's funny because we actually did that for a Sonic runner as well at AGDQ. I mean both of you weren't there, so I'll explain. But like there's an Italian runner named GhostSR for Sonic Adventure 2, and he had his own run at GDQ. And he's like one of the legends in the community. So we took like a group of 20 people and we all like sat in the hotel lobby waiting for him to get in. It was
so
sick. It was sick. It was cool.
Yeah, that's
I went to Olive Garden with Deku at Pace. That was so funny.
Bro, seeing an Italian at Olive Garden, that must be like fucking.
He actually liked it. He liked it.
He liked it? There's no way. No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, Odyssey, that was a time, but
yeah.
I think Odyssey was kind of a big part of my life for about 2 years, and everything else is just Multi-Mario. Like that was, I can't really say there was ever a game besides Odyssey that really captivated me for that long. Any other time I've tried to pick up a non-Multi-Mario game, I mean, I guess Odyssey counts as that. Like it's Multi-Mario too, but Odyssey is just a beast like that. Like I've also ran 3D World, but like. That lasted, I don't know, a couple months.
Oh, my favorite game, 3D World.
But yeah, when it comes to like 64, Sunshine, and the Galaxies, those have been like the games for me ever since I started.
Yeah.
Like 3D World, I picked up when the Switch version came out. I tried running the Wii U version, and I hated it so much.
The Wii U version is so much worse. It's crazy.
And then the Switch version came out, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a chance. It looks better. I'm still not the biggest fan of it, but it's a lot better to run, that's for sure.
You guys weren't there for the glory that was 3D World Wii U speedrunning.
I was there and it sucked.
No, you weren't there. No, you were there, but you weren't there. Like you weren't in the group of runners. It was crazy because like a lot of the people that I know now, and not a lot, but like a couple of people that I know now, I met in like the Wii U era of 3D World speedrunning. So that for the longest time, like I always wanted to speedrun 3D World, and I would do like speedruns of 3D World with an iPhone timer offline, like on my flat screen TV in the fucking living room, which
that's hype.
It was hype. But like I actually did a run one time, and I met someone named Yandema. I don't know if you
Yandema.
guys know
No,
who
that guy.
Yandema. I know Odme does. I don't know Zach if you know who
I don't
Yandema
think
is.
so.
He was a world record level 3D world runner and pretty popular at the time. But I also met other people like King J, and I also met
Nice.
Did you meet
people like-
King Boo?
I actually, so funny story. So King Boo had the record in the game, and that record is viewed as unbeatable. I'm pretty sure it stood for like 8 years or something. It stood for a very long time, at least over 4 years. But I was always like in awe of him, and eventually King Boo just ended up playing Mario Kart on my stream one day, and you know, this is after I had like gained a decent bit of a following, so I probably had like 40-50 average. So like in actuality, like I shouldn't have been as like starstruck as I was. But like when King Boo was playing Mario Kart with us, I was like, this is like the coolest shit ever. But that definitely kickstarted me into the speedrunning scene and like just the culture of speedrunning, because it was King J, it was someone named Preston, he's not really around. It was King J, Preston, and a couple other individuals as well, and it was really tight knit, and that's how I kind of like got my first footing on Twitch, is just with 3D Worlds. And you know, it sucks, like it doesn't suck, but everybody kind of shits on the game, Odme especially, and you know, in the end of the day, he's kind of right. Like Wii U 3D World doesn't stack up to the Switch version, but I'm definitely nostalgic for the times that I had back then. But
it was
yeah,
really
pretty
crazy
cool.
to see that the Switch version like revived the game,
Yeah.
because I remember, I don't know if I was in the Discord for Wii U at all, but I just remember like the months leading up to 3D World getting announced for Switch, not even released, just announced. That community was just dead. Like
Yeah.
no, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was a dead game. Like I didn't see a single person run it for maybe 2 or 3 years. It was ridiculous how
I
few
will
people were running
say-
it. And then the Switch version comes out, and then everybody's back on 3D World, and it was pretty cool to see. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not a big fan of the Wii U version, but the Switch version gave it a second chance, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also killed the community.
Okay.
It killed the
Wii U
community because
community that
it
didn't
had the
exist.
Odyssey. It had the Odyssey effect of an influx of, you know, young kids into the community.
That's
We're just
true,
hating
yeah.
children.
But I mean,
And
that
I'll be
happens with
honest, I
every
used to
game now.
mod the game, but the amount of times somebody would spew some like anti-Semitic or like homophobic shit in the fucking dude, it was bad. It was bad. I had to ban someone because they had a homophobic about me on Discord.
Oh.
And you know, after that happened, and as my channel started to grow, I'm like, you know what? I appreciate the things this community did for me, and I'm glad I got to do the things I did for it. But I think it's time for me to like leave, because there's some people in that community that if you lock me in a room with them, I think after like 30 seconds, I'd start fucking freaking out, like begging the walls to let me out, dude. I wouldn't want to talk to some of those people for a minute, let alone like any length more. But you know, I mean, Abby was right. It was dead, but the reason it was dead, and this is probably like a step to like a bigger conversation, is because somebody had such a monopoly. Luigi Master 06 had such a monopoly on the records. Like, bro
Yeah.
had record by like 2.5 minutes. Like, nobody gave a fuck anymore. Like, he was so good that it caused people to just not care about the game, because like, oh, Luigi Master got another record again. It's like, okay, like fork found in kitchen. Like, dude, like. It's
That's
like,
an
it's
insane
just
metaphor.
So you know, I feel like at times if someone has such a vice grip on the game, it can kill it, because it just like the competition is no longer as
Don't know what you're
fierce.
talking about, man. No, I have no clue what you could be
Yeah.
referencing.
Well,
with that.
no, I'm not referencing you. I'm not talking about Multi-Mario.
No, I was referring to Galaxy.
Oh, to Galaxy.
Mainly,
I mean,
mainly Galaxy 2, because Jay kind of has the same thing with Galaxy, where he's just so much better than everybody else. However, that has not completely killed competition for it. Unless we're talking about Galaxy 2 242, nobody fucking cares about top level in that category because his time is so far ahead. But with other categories, there's still plenty of people running at the top level.
yeah, but the hard part is like the Galaxy 2 community. If you're not, I feel like there's a difference between, and this might be my, like, I might just be like fighting demons, bro. But I feel like there's a difference between the Galaxy community and the Galaxy 2. Like, not community, but like the main people that run it. I feel like the Galaxy 2 people, like, they're just like group of top runners who are like good at the game, and that they all just stay within themselves. And if you're not like really good at the game, you just kind of feel like you're alone half the time. Like we had like Gory who ran the game for a bit. I couldn't stand when Gory ran Galaxy. I'm just gonna say it.
Why?
Actually, just like I'll be honest, very egotistical.
I mean,
Very egotistical. He is good, so there's almost like a right for that ego, but very egotistical, and absolutely had a baby meltdown after the 2P stuff.
Oh, that was funny.
Ended up deleting their runs, which like I feel like there's never a scenario where you should be deleting a speedrun off the internet, unless like no, I'm talking about like you yourself deleting your own run off the internet. Like anonymizing it, that's fine. Deleting it though, like Gory just deleted it, and it's just like they just made an issue for like everyone in the community by doing that. Because
I met Gory from Odyssey, so I have a completely different impression of him. I just remember him being like this kid that was like crazy good at Odyssey. Because I remember when Niker got the first sub hour, and I went to bed afterward because he got it really late. So I went to bed. I woke up at 6 a.m. to somebody pinging, "Yo, Gory's on sub hour pace in Pillars." I'm like, what? And then he got it like 6 hours later, and I was like, what the hell? So that's
crazy.
yeah.
I didn't realize you were talking about the same Gory. I thought it was like when
Gory,
you started talking like when you started like talking about all that, I was like, okay, it must be a different Gory, because like in my mind, Gory is just like the small face cam Japanese, really good at Odyssey guy, you know.
Yeah, he picked up Galaxy 2 probably like what 2021 2022 around that time, I think. I don't know, but he picked it up when he wanted to take a break from SMO, and he got really good at it with one player, which is important to note because we're definitely long past the debates of like whether 2P should be the standard or not, and it just is.
It is a standard.
For Galaxy 2, not as much.
Delusional.
There's still plenty of top runners who use 1P for Galaxy 2, but I don't know, that whole debate was going on for years, and then once the record got beaten with 2-player, I guess Gory just couldn't take that.
Lost it.
But
yeah, I don't know. A little context here. I, for the longest time, for about 3 years, hyperfixated. Galaxy was my main speed game. I was very much advocate for the Galaxy community, and just like a big fan proponent. I would defend Galaxy at any chance. And then after I got my 532 in 120, which was I think like 12th at the time, my motivation for Galaxy tanked into the ground, and I don't even want to play that game anymore. Like, I'm not really too sure what happened, but I think it's like down to a couple factors. I think that the community at the time got a little worse, and people just constantly argued a lot. Also, unfortunately, there can be some toxicity.
That's literally every community, man.
But obviously, like for me, I felt a lot more toxicity running Galaxy than I did like pretty much any other game. Also, just like, I'll be honest, and this is like more 100% a me thing, but like the Switch version becoming the norm.
Dude, I can't believe you.
I don't know.
Switch, like I was actually gonna bring up how like Hex was talking about how much he misses Wii U 3D World. This man refuses to play Galaxy on Switch.
It's just because I just don't like playing with Joy-Cons, and I don't like the sensitivity of Joy-Cons, and I don't like the fact that I have to rewire my entire grip, my entire play style for a game that I've sunk almost 2,000 to 3,000 hours in. It's just worthless. Like, there's so much better, so much like I could be doing with my time other than that to do for a game that I don't even really like that much right now. So I don't know. Like, it just, and seeing everyone like flock to Switch, and like Switch saves 3 minutes. It saves a lot of time. It kind of just made me not want to play the game at all. And anytime I play the game, I'm reminded of why I don't want to play the game, which sucks because I feel like my story's not over with Galaxy, but if I don't want to play the game, I'm not going to play the game.
You don't need Joy-Cons. You don't need Joy-Cons though to play Galaxy, right?
You can use
technically don't. You can use Pro Controller, but it's not as good. It's like the thing about Joy-Cons is if you're playing as Luigi, which almost everybody does. if you shake the left Joy-Con, he actually gets a higher spin. Because on the Wii version, if you shake the nunchuck, he goes higher. But the Pro Controller doesn't have that, so that's why Joy-Cons are so good.
Nintendo with their controller differences for advantages on the Switch is so annoying. Like it's the same with down throwing in Odyssey.
I actually broke my first pair of Joy-Cons because of Odyssey. It was because of all the spin pounds I had to do.
Same, yeah.
I might still have. I don't know
Odyssey speedrunning is horrible for stick drift on Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Like I've broken like multiple pairs and then I just switched to Pro-Con. Even with Pro-Con, I've had to buy a couple more because just spin pounding I feel like just destroys your sticks.
This is where me and Odme are gonna probably butt heads, but this thing just kind of reminds me of like something that I was thinking of. Like I really don't like top level speedrunning a lot. Like oh my god.
Oh my god, it completely tore off. What the hell?
Yeah, the stick still works, but it's just a little nub. So this would destroy. This is my first ever pair of Joy-Cons.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of top level speedrunning. Just because, any time that I've been in like a top level like scenario, which isn't often, I'll say that much. Like I'm definitely not one who is top level in any speed game really. Like I'm more of like a person who does multiple and gets decent at them. But just because every time I try to like get top level in a game, like I'm a full-time college student. I do a lot. For me to stay de-rusted, I have to practice for like every day. I have to practice, learn strats, and it's just like I don't have time for that. Like I don't have time to like sit down and like learn level by level, shine by shine, star by star, like whatever it is. I just don't have time for that. And even if I did have time, I'm not sure that I would want to do that because it's just so like, it doesn't really pay off because you just like get the time and then like, okay, someone just beats it. And then you're just back to where you were before. Like, and especially when someone has a monopoly on the entire game, you're just like, you're putting all this work in and then you just see this person like get a time that's like 30 minutes faster than yours. And then you're just like, okay, what's the fucking point? Like, and then I don't know. Like, so for me, that's always been my outlook on speedrunning. Like I speedrun to have fun. I speedrun to like be good, to like show off. But like when it comes time to like grind resets and attempts, like I'm not your guy. I'm not that guy for that. Now, Odme, on the other hand, is actually top level. So I'd be curious to hear his input.
I'm kind of in that space right now where I just want to learn a game. Like with Sonic Adventure, I'm kind of just like, I want to get good at this game, but I don't want to go too crazy on it. Because it's just really hard. But I don't know, when it comes to Mario, I think my intention was never to really get to a top level. It just kind of naturally
that backfired.
It just kind of naturally happens because you keep playing the games and you get better. Like I've been running them since 2015, so like if I'm just gonna keep playing them, then I'm gonna naturally get better. And then it just ended up putting me in a position where I'm just like a top runner for both Galaxy games, and I'm pretty high level in SMS and 64. With SM64, I did have the intention of actually getting really good at it this year. After Pace Fall, I was like, okay, I want to actually like really get good at 64 because it's the only game I want to play. But I don't know, it's always felt natural. I've never really gone into a speed game with the intention to be like, I want to get really good at this. Except for maybe Odyssey, but literally everybody wanted to get good at Odyssey when it came out because they wanted to be the world record holder for the big Mario game. It's I don't know. When it comes to top level, I've always more focused on self-improvement rather than trying to like if somebody bops me, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can seek out to bop them back, but like that's just more motivation for me to improve my own time and better myself at the game. But I don't think I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I'll probably never have a world record in any of the games individually, and that's why I kind of stick with the Multi-Mario thing, because that's like I can comfortably get records in that.
Yeah.
And that's like really all that matters to me. But as far as the individual games go, I've honestly been pretty happy with all my times for quite a while now, except for like 64. I still want to get a 139 and that, and then once that's done, I'm like, anything else is just a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you just so like how are you so consistent with the long speedruns? Because like
Everybody asks this
honestly,
question.
yeah.
Literally, everybody asks this question, and I'm like, dude, I literally just play the games. Like, I don't really know how else to explain it. I've just been playing them for so long that, like, I don't know. It's just I did the whole like grind phase of it where I just sink my teeth into it and play everything like multiple times. I did that years ago, and now it's just I just kind of learn stuff. I'm able to learn stuff just from watching it most of the time. Like I will, unless it's something really, really complicated that I need an explanation for, I can watch somebody do a trick and I will just know how to do it because I've had that experience for so many years. Consistency literally just comes from doing runs because a lot of people think to get better at speedrunning you have to practice and like then incorporate all that into a run. I just did runs. Like I didn't when like probably I don't know 2018 and beyond, I really didn't care much for offline practice. I still do it, like it's necessary, but like I literally just go live and do runs, and then when I'm done with runs, I'm like, that's enough for that game for today. I'll do more runs tomorrow, and that's how I stayed consistent for so long. And now I can just pick up a game I haven't played in a couple of years, and like Hex and other people love to rag on me for this, but whenever I derust the game, I PB within like 2 days, and I'm like, that's just not how it works, man.
Well,
I never rust. I've been playing for so long that I don't really think rust is a real thing. I think for Sunshine, rust is a real thing. Like for Sunshine, I am definitely rusty at that game whenever I pick it up after a not very long time, because oh my god, my runs of that game are always so bad when I go back to it. But with like the Galaxy games and 64, like 64 is also a bit different because I'm actively playing that still. But with the Galaxy games, I can literally come back, and if I don't PB, I'll play within like a minute or two of my PB on my first run back. And that's just because those games are so consistent on their own. And also, I've just been doing it for so long that I don't really need to remember how to do certain things.
The consistency thing is interesting because, I'll be honest, if you're ever trying to be the best at something, you want to learn from the best. So when I was doing Multi-Mario, I'd watch Odme a lot, and so I kind of developed his play style.
Baby strats.
Yeah, baby strats carry you to the moon. And so that's like, that's what I adopted my style after, just consistency. And so, I'm kind of the same way where it's like if I come back to a game I haven't played in a while, it's like one derust run and then PB always. Like the second run, I literally coined it like Hex's theorem or some shit. That's like the second run you do of any return will always be PB, and it's pretty much done that like throughout my entire career speedrunning. But I think at the end of the day, like Albie brought up like a great point of people think you need to just practice. What's practice without runs? Like that's like studying but never taking a test. And like people think that just leads to a lot of frustrations. Like damn, I practice 9 hours a day and like I can't get runs going. It's like, well, because you need to do more runs and not practice as much. Like there's definitely like some misconceptions in that regard. Now obviously at top level is different, but I always just say no resets are the best practice. And I don't know, I think that's helped.
Can apply, yes, but a bad no reset can absolutely destroy you sometimes.
It can.
It is awful. It's so funny how you talk about like the Hex's theorem bullshit, because like I remember during this most recent 602, I PB'd in Galaxy 2 120, not the full run, but just the first 120 stars. And I go into a VC with like all my friends in it, and I tell them, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool! What, you PB?" Hex jumps in. I hate you so much. I'm like, what the fuck,
dude? It's because I get upset because like it's par for the course with this motherfucker. Like every time, like every time we think he's gonna do bad, or every time there's like a shred of maybe bro won't pull through. Nah, he always does. Like every fucking time. No, let me tell you about. I'm gonna bring this up. Odme's gonna fucking strangle me for this. Okay. Sorry, I should have asked. How cursing? Yes, no.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
We've
See
already
right now,
encouraged them,
anyway.
Literally, when we did the most recent 3DMM, this guy had the hardest path out of anyone.
Oh my
In literally every scenario, there he was facing Druz, who's a 64 main, fucking rolls 64 on the wheel and gets 16 star, which is Druz's best category. And then when facing, was it like Big Cheese? I think you got SMO.
Yes.
Yeah, Big Cheese has like a 102 or a 101, which is like, that's, for Odme, that's like your no resets, right? Like 102, 101.
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I'm like, oh my God, bro might actually lose. And then he just kept getting, like, I don't want to say bailed out, but like to his own skill, like he kept getting bailed out because he just was better, like didn't fold. And so I don't know. I just always thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I had to race JJ in SMS.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We definitely will talk about that with more context given the last month, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. The whole consistency thing, it's always been like just a natural thing for me. I definitely did not want to approach speedrunning with the mindset of like there's always like people love to call it the Dide approach, at least I do, because it was always the thing where you always learn the hardest strats immediately and you just want to be like the best. Like you want to do like IL level shit in your runs, and it's just like the reason that became such a popular mindset to have is because Nindide did it in SMS. He was like one of the first people to do an approach like that to a speed game, and he just crushed everyone. Like nobody thought a 114 would happen in Sunshine in 2016, and he did it, and it was unheard of for somebody to be going for stuff that was that difficult. In a run setting rather than just ILs, and that kind of became the norm for a lot of speed games for people, is they learn from that and they're like, oh, if I just learn all the hardest shit and get consistent at that, then I'll just be the best because nobody will have the balls to go for stuff like that. And then it just leads to people hating themselves and hating their runs because they can't nail all this insanely hard stuff that only very, very special people like Dide were able to accomplish.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because like I've seen so many people who will say that they'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna learn this game, I'm gonna go for everything, and then like 2 days later they're like, yeah, I'm not playing that game anymore. And I'm just like, bro, you did this to yourself, like please. But that's definitely like the opposite approach, and I feel like that like mindset is literally just going to burn you out so fast. The only reason Dide did it is because he's a freak of nature in a positive way.
Yeah, Dide's just crazy because he got a 114.40 in SMS in like April 2017 or so. That record stood for 2 years without being contested. It took Ouija, who's an absolute beast himself, to finally beat it 2 years later. Then he comes back like maybe a year later or something and gets the first 113 within like a week. And it's like who's gonna stop this man? I feel like the only reason Dide is not playing SMS anymore, or the only reason he doesn't have the record anymore, is because he just stopped playing. Like if he was still playing, he would still be unstoppable in my eyes. He is the absolute best at that game of all time, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Like JJ's amazing, Inkstar's amazing, even Ouija had his time, but Dide will forever be the GOAT of Sunshine for me.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, there's definitely like a lot.
Because he literally changed the entire way people view it as a speed game and how to like get records and stuff. Like his influence
mentality. Like his own mentality was coined after him, which is crazy.
So is Sunshine your favorite game in the 602 Odme?
Yes, it's my favorite speed game, period. Yeah. Like Odyssey is my favorite game casually. Like I don't think anything will ever top Odyssey just as a game. That game is almost perfect in my eyes. But as far as speedrunning goes, I feel that way about Sunshine. It's just perfect. Like the RNG can be stupid, obviously, but I don't think that's enough to undermine just how insane that game actually is in terms of its just the movement. Like the movement alone is the best of any video game, and I honestly don't think you can tell me otherwise. Like games like SMO and SM64 have great movement. Even 3D World to some degree has amazing movement, but Sunshine it's flawless. Like I just love
It's very
loading
good.
up Delfino Plaza and dicking around for like 15 minutes because
Only thing they didn't do well is they need a long jump.
nah, but you have the dive. That's why the
No.
dive exists. It's so
I just need a long
broken.
jump, man. No, I get
Yeah.
it though. Odme is very right, and honestly, Sunshine's a breath of fresh air in the galaxy-filled 602. Like even for someone like
I am
me,
not a fan of Galaxy 1.
Yeah.
Galaxy 2, well, I don't think it's like the greatest speed game, but it's still very good because it has stuff like Yoshi flutters and just really awesome tricks and just better level design that is way more suited for speedrunning. I can't stand Galaxy 1. I just don't like it.
I would say the same thing, but the thing that really like won me over in Galaxy was the 2P, just because it felt like and that's the one thing. It's like if Galaxy 1's 2P wasn't as good as it is, I would be a Galaxy 2 enjoyer through and through. But like the Galaxy 1 just won me over with 120. It was my favorite category, and I think part of it has to do with I could never get all 120 stars as a kid. So now the fact that I'm able to just do it over and over again, like, had to be a little bit like of a pride boost, or like gave me motivation. So I think that has something to do with it, and like I think Galaxy for me will always just be like my favorite game in the 602, like on principle, even if I don't want to play it right now. Like me and that game have been through like hell and back, so for me to say anything else is just not true.
Yeah, I mean, of the 602 games, Galaxy is probably the one I played the most of, but honestly, I haven't beaten any of them, and I haven't gotten far in any of them. It's so hard when Odyssey is your, like, well, I guess I did 3D World before Odyssey, but when Odyssey is like your first kind of game, like one of your first games, I feel like it's really hard to go back to the old 3D Marios for me. Especially 64.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think 64, I can understand that because it hasn't aged the greatest. I personally think it's aged pretty well, but objectively it has not really held up compared to stuff like Sunshine and the Galaxy games.
Yeah.
Sunshine is a bit of a debate because not even referring to speedrunning, I adore Sunshine. That is, like, before Odyssey came out, it was my favorite game of all time. Like, I have so much nostalgia for it. I don't care what people say about it. You can't change my view. It's a fucking amazing game. But it is very broken, and I get why people don't like it. But whenever people say they hate Sunshine, like, flat out hate it, hate's a strong word.
It's a skill issue.
It's literally a skill issue. If people hate Sunshine, it's because they're bad at it. It's a hard game. It is the hardest 3D Mario casually, like, by far. So I can see why that would also be a bit difficult to go back to, but for the Galaxy games, I think you can go back to them just fine and play them because they are such easy games to get into and just beat. Like, especially if you have experience with 3D Marios already, like you could definitely beat both Galaxy games in like a week or two. Galaxy 2 might take you a bit longer just because it is a harder game, but I don't know. I think they're very accessible games for people who haven't really played the older Marios. Yeah. But 64 and Sunshine might be a bit trickier.
Yeah, Galaxy's still a lot of fun casually too. Like it's very easy to just kind of do, like, if you're bored.
I still stand by the fact that 3D Marios have no bad games. Like, even though I don't like Galaxy as a speedrun, it's still a phenomenal game casually. And 64, 64 is not the greatest, but it's still great. I love it.
Even like 3D Land and stuff too, they still have like
3D Land is underrated as hell.
Yeah.
I love that game. I think it's better than 3D World.
You're just wrong.
I wouldn't go that far. But yeah, 3D Land.
I don't know.
Cool
I don't
too.
agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I'll be honest. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like I don't know. I'm not sure. I think like. Yeah, I don't know. I really
doesn't
don't
think.
left.
This guy doesn't
really
think.
think left.
That was some great insight from Hex.
I'm glad we enjoyed. I'm really glad. I kind of zoned out, so I forgot what we were talking about. But if you want to remind me, I can actually give like a good info.
Yeah, we were talking about 3D Land, and you didn't agree.
It's dog shit. I've actually never played it.
Of course you haven't. Of course you fucking haven't played it.
I've actually never played it.
Every time,
pretty cool.
I swear to God, every time Hex says he thinks a game is bad, it's a game he's never played before.
Yeah.
Every time. I can't remember the last time this guy has actually played a video game and said it was bad.
Well, no, because if I end up playing it, it's good.
Exactly.
That's just the way it is. Like I was getting ready to shit on Thousand Year Door, and I played it, and it was a masterpiece. So I'm like, what am I gonna do with all this hater energy now?
Yeah.
But no, I think it was. I think 3D Land in its own right is pretty cool. It just kind of sucks. It's a handheld, doesn't get much attention.
All right, so we talked a bit about 602 Race earlier. Is there any other events that the Multi-Mario community hosts, and if so, like which ones are your favorite? Because I'm actually kind of curious.
Well, actually, this weekend we're having the first of two 246 races, which is just the any percent 602. Basically, it's like 70 star in SM64, and then you do any percent for Galaxy 1, Sunshine, and Galaxy 2. It takes me about 7.5 hours, but for most people it's about like 8 to 9. And the first one of those races on Saturday, like August 17th, at like 7 p.m. And the second one is the week after at like 9 a.m. So that's like the next biggest event. But we also have races for like the Sandbox Any Percent race, which is 6470, and then Sunshine and Odyssey Any Percent, which is an amazing category. I love it.
I'm gonna disagree right there.
Of course you disagree, man, because you're bad at Odyssey.
I don't know. I'm not bad at Odyssey. I'm not good at Odyssey, but I'm not bad at Odyssey. Actually, no. I will say that my opinion on that category is probably a little outdated. It's been a while since I've ran Sandbox, but
Honestly, I have some bias towards it because I personally think that record is my best one. Just pure execution wise, I think that Sandbox run is my best Multi-Mario run to date. It's honestly getting close to being beaten if JJ ever picks up the category again. He got close. He got like a 309, but he has not actually gotten the record yet. So for now, it has stood since March of last year. But I don't know. It's a great category, especially if you want to get into Multi-Mario, but you don't want to play for 7+ hours and do a lot of Galaxy, because it's the shortest one that doesn't have any handheld stuff in it.
yeah, I think it's good for entry level, but I think grinding it's a pain just because they're all just very hard games, and no matter what order you put the games, like you're gonna be deep into a run and you're gonna have to play a hard ass game, and you lose the run and you're just like, why, man? Why? But like, I think it's Sandbox to me, and this is gonna sound really stupid, but it doesn't feel like a real Multi-Mario category.
Okay, y'all some gatekeepers.
But you're doing multiple Mario games.
Y'all some gatekeepers.
Who needs Galaxy?
But no, it's just more so like I feel like it doesn't actually get into like what Multi-Mario has to offer, which is being good at multiple different play styles, because you leave out like the playstyles of Galaxy, which are completely different, and the playstyle of 3D World, which is considerably different.
So you're saying 540 is objectively the best one?
Yeah, I am saying that. I am. Well, I mean, 602.
602 is the best. It doesn't there's no
let's get that out there. Let's get that out there real quick. 602 is the best Multi-Mario category. 602 might be one of the best speedrunning races, period. Like,
I think
you know what? I'll let my fucking nuts hang. 602 is the best speedrunning race event that there is.
I think, especially after we establish just how big it can get with this most recent one, the fact that a 20+ hour race got 140 entrants is just mind-boggling to me. Now, granted, a lot of that was on me DMing literally every single person who's done a 602 and be like, please join. It's the 10th anniversary. Please do it. The fact that all of them responded and actually signed up is the crazy part to me. Like, 100, I wasn't expecting, I was honestly thinking we'd get over 100 because of how many people I was asking, but 140 was just bonkers. Like, I think, how many people finished? I think it was 80 people finished, which is
insane.
A lot of people.
Ridiculous. It was like, about 81 people finished this 602, which is absurd for
honestly,
a race that long.
It's insanely impressive that over half of the people that signed up, when that many people signed up for a 20+ hour speedrun, finished the run. Like,
yeah, and granted, we do allow, pausing the timer when you go to sleep and like big breaks like that. But the fact that people still came back to finish it, even with those breaks, says a lot.
Yeah,
like, I think
100%.
602 is definitely just the best like speedrunning event.
Yeah.
race wise. As far as like, you know, overall speedrunning events, the in-person ones are the best, like Pace and GDQ and stuff. But as far as stuff where you do a speedrun, like it's just you and a bunch of people racing, I think the 602 is the best one.
Mhm.
Yeah, 602 is one of those
I think
things
it
where
definitely is.
like I would want to do one someday, except I don't have any speedrun experience in any of the 4 games, so it's like
That's why you
I
learn
don't-
them all.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's very
me-
daunting. Like I don't know.
Let
I
me
don't
just
know if
give
I'll
you
ever do one.
a bit of history with somebody who was in your exact situation, Mr. Talon2461.
Oh, Talon.
He is one of my best friends. He's a Sonic speedrunner. He's probably the GOAT of the 100% category. for Sonic
I would
Adventure 2.
consider Talon to just be one of the best speedrunners of all time.
He's
like,
awesome.
Like
but,
skill wise, is one
yeah.
of the best speedrunners
So
ever.
he, in December of 2020, he signed up for the 602, having the only game he'd ever run was Sunshine. He did any percent and 120 a little bit back in like 2017 or something, 2016. Besides that, he had no experience in any of the games. He did the 602. Took him 31, almost 32 hours to complete. No sleep. And then over the next 6 months before the next race, he learned all the games from scratch and de-rusted the hell out of Sunshine was basically learning it from scratch. Like, there was almost no de-rust there. It was basically just learning it all over again. And he set pretty high goals for himself, like, as far as times were. I was like, you know, I could see him getting a few of these. Like, it was a sub 2 in SM64, which I thought was a bit difficult, but he could probably do it. Sub 6 in Galaxy 1, he could definitely do that. Sub 330 in Sunshine, which he could do because he already ran the game. But the most daunting one was a sub 930 in Galaxy 2 100%, which is so much harder than the rest of them. Like that is a pretty difficult time to get, especially if you're learning from scratch and trying to do it in 6 months. And he got all of them. And he got the Galaxy 2 goal a week before the 602. And I was like, he's him. Like, this guy is actually just him. And then during the 602, he PB'd by 10 hours. Like, he got an almost 20-hour time. He got a 21:25, I think. And I was like, this might be, like, the fastest improvement of a speedrun I've ever seen. Like, the fact that he learned all those games from scratch and got that good in half a year is ridiculous. So I think it's a bit hard to say if he can do it, you can, because he was also out of a job for a bit of time, so he was doing that full time. Like, that was the only thing he was really doing for that half of the year. But I think it's still fair to say if somebody can do that and get a 21-hour time, I think anybody can learn all those games from scratch and get a sub 24-hour time in a
Are such good resources is the thing. Like I feel like with the 602 is like, even if you don't want to look at tutorials, like there's so many people who do it that if you choose someone around who you think is around your skill level and just copy their strats, or choose someone with a time that's good but not great, like you'd be surprised how many easy strats they do and how like easy it is to get into it. Like, you know, for me, I was, you know, I started out 28-hour estimate. Like my estimate started out 28 hours. And the reason I got better is I just watched other people play the game, and like just like knowing the little ins and outs of every game is like enough to just like be able to do it. It sucks. It's like it seems so daunting, but like in the end of the day, it really is like friendly for new runners, and that was, you know, shown with the 10th anniversary game. Like the 10th anniversary race, not 10th anniversary game.
602 games, let's go.
The thing is, like, I think, you know, now the 602 is no longer a niche race, and I think that's something that we realized with this last race of the 602, the 10th anniversary, is that the 602, when it started out, and like because you know, the 602 definitely had an incline around 2020 because of COVID and 3D All Stars.
The history of it kind of went like, it started out pretty small, obviously, like all events do, and it got a little bit bigger, but it never really like got to this like huge scale. And then in like 2017 in the summer, it got like 42 entrants, I think, which is ridiculous for the time, especially since we had really strict break rules. Like, you could take a 1 hour break and that was it, no pausing the time or anything. 42 people signing up was really cool. Odyssey comes out and it just plummets. Like 602 is like kind of in the ground because of Odyssey. Like nobody wanted to play. All the races for like a few years were just like not getting many entrants at all. And then 3D All-Stars came out and just kind of resurrected it in a way. Like COVID also helped out because everybody was stuck at home, obviously. But 3D All-Stars made 3 out of the 4 games a lot more accessible, and it just made it grow into what it is now.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a mainstream thing among speedrunners. Like, even if you just ask like a casual viewer of like the Mario games, maybe not 64 so much the other ones, if you've asked them if they heard of the 602, they would probably say yes.
Yeah. I'm just imagining like if Galaxy 2 is part of 3D All Stars, how much bigger it would have been too.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
actually
it
probably would
probably-
have helped a lot. Just because
It
like,
would help a lot
yeah.
because now instead of just I can't get my hands on like Galaxy 1 or Sunshine, now it's always I can't get Galaxy 2. That is
Yeah.
like always the reason people can't do a 602 now is like, I don't know how to get Galaxy 2. And it's like, well, I was gonna say, dude, just hack your Wii U, but nobody has a Wii U. So.
Yeah. But it definitely, like, before we continue on, there's one last thing that I wanted to like exclaim. It's just more so like the 602 when we started, it was like a 40-person thing. It was pretty competitive. Like you could get top 10 with like a 24-hour time. This last race, like top 10 was, I'm pretty sure, sub 21, which is like if sub 21 was literally like top 5 for like many years.
Yeah, 10th,
Now-
10th place was
yeah.
2103, this 602 race.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, that's
insane. And it really kind of just hit me and others, like the 602 is not this niche project that we start out in where it's like a community wide race that gets over 100 entrants. Like it is one of, if not the most popular speedrunning races ever.
yeah,
And I
no.
just think it's interesting, seeing it go from this niche little project to, everybody's really got their eyes on it. Like there's people who are excited for 602 day who don't even run the damn 602. Like there's
Yeah.
people who are like, I can't wait for 602 day. I'm like, I didn't know you were doing the 602. And then they're not even doing the 602. They just like watching. And so I think that's really cool. And I think that's a cool way to get like people invested into the speedrunning scene. And that got a lot of people into Multi-Mario. So that's kind of why, like, if this 602 was our last, like, if this is like, if the community starts declining or whatever, like, less people start joining, I think like we did so much with it. Like, I think I'm at peace with whatever happens now.
Yeah, that's the thing is like not everybody, but some people keep saying like, oh yeah, after this one, the 602 is gonna fall off. It's not gonna get that many entrants, and it's just like, it's just gonna go back to what it was before.
Yeah.
like we're only gonna get like 60 entrants now, which is still a lot. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot
for a race
for
this long.
this
I'd be
long.
happy to get like over 20. And the fact that we'll probably still consistently be getting like 50 to 60 people per race, like that's good enough for me. We don't have to get like 80 to 100 every single time.
Yeah, and it could grow again, like in a few years from now, for all we know. Like it's definitely been growing in popularity. Like obviously after the 10th anniversary, some people are taking a break for a while, which is completely fair. But like, it's still gonna like get new people every race. I'm sure there's still gonna be like at least a few new people, and it's definitely grown a lot too. I remember in the episode with Irene, like she had like posters of like the 602 in the background, which I thought was really cool. Like you got merch now and everything. It's like sick.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, it's come a long way, and it's really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I will say, I definitely think the main reason it got so big as quick as it did is because of 360 Chrism and like what he was able to, because he was like probably the only real big speedrunning streamer when it came to most of these games at the time. Like there were definitely more, especially for 64. 64 does not count because that game's always been big. But as far as like Sunshine and especially the Galaxy games went, Chrism was like kind of on top when it came to viewership. So he really did a good job at pushing the 602 and advertising it early on. And he still does it. Like he did this most recent one. Even if he's not like taking it as seriously, like the fact that he's still involved in it definitely helps like get it out there and
100%.
have more people watch it. And that's one thing that I do miss about the 602 is watching it. The fact that I'm doing it almost every time. I do skip out on one like every now and then just because I don't feel like it. But the thing that I miss most about just the race in general is the fact that I'm doing it all the time means I can't watch it. And I love watching the 602. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Because you get like the multi-stream website that has like 8 people on it. You just watch all of them. It's such a fun experience.
Yeah, it's always a sick day, and I always see like all over Twitter like everyone waking up for the 602.
Oh my god.
Oh hell no, it's 602 day.
It's a good trend.
It's awesome. But yeah, I know honestly like I feel like my experience with the 602 is pretty unique because a lot of the recent times when I do 602, like I'm so stressed out I can't even really enjoy it that much. Like when I did my first 2 602s, I was so stressed. Or no, I was not so stressed actually. When I did my first 2 602s, like I was so excited that I didn't feel any nerves. Like I was just raw excitement. But then, you know, after that, like it kind of just went away. Like the novelty was lost, and like the more 602s I did, the more I just dreaded them. And just like even this like most recent 602, like this 10th anniversary, like there's no way I'm not doing the 10th anniversary because of the role that I've played and like everything coming, you know, getting there, the role I played, I'm not going to skip out on it. But it was just like more so the fact that there was so much pressure, and like I was just playing the game, and like I would be in Galaxy and I feel like I want to throw up. Like I'd be so scared just because like what if I mess up a level and I lose 3 minutes and then I'm down in the race. And then like, you know, after I finished this most recent 602, I literally said I need a break. I'm going to skip out on the next 602 just because doing the 602, like your mental definitely gets messed up throughout it. At least
Not
for
mine.
me.
I feel great.
Okay, I don't understand that though.
Yeah.
But you know,
the only time I felt
it's
stressed
stressful.
during this, the only time I felt really stressed during a 602 was the first one where I was able to get sub 20. Like because that I think the one before that I got 2009, and then the next one I was like, you know, if I just play a bit more, give it better, sub 20 could happen. You know, a 10-minute improvement at the time, not really unheard of. So I could definitely do it, but I knew it was going to be close. So going into that race, I was very stressed, and that resulted in me getting very sick during Galaxy 2 as well, because it's like all that stress building up, and also I was drinking way too much water to kind of compensate with that, so it just all physically destroyed me. But I ended up getting sub 20 by about 3 minutes, and that's the scary thing about 602s. At the very end, you do the perfect run, which is the hardest star in Galaxy 2, but it's really not. It's like mostly muscle memory at this point. But the thing about it is if you fail it at the end, you lose like 3 minutes. I didn't really think about the fact that if I died at the end here, I would have killed sub 20 until after I finished. And then when I looked at the time, I was like, shit. If I died there, it would have been over.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think having perfect run at the end of the 602 is like good and bad.
It's the best ending to it.
No, see, it would be if nerves didn't exist. Like I'm literally like shaking throughout the entirety of Perfect Run, and like it got to the point where like finishing it doesn't overshadow like the nerves of being in the level. Like it just is like playing a game where like if I were to ever do, there's a Sonic version of a 602 called the 430. I would end on a boss fight that's literally like a glitch, and it's like the most. Like it's don't get me wrong, it's a cool ending because like big final Sonic boss, they're always really cool, but there's no perfect run, which is like sad because like the hype for like one hit you're dead isn't going to be there. But you know, I can also finish the run and not feel like complete shit at the end because I have to do this level, and if I mess up, like I won't even PB this 20-hour run, and it's just, I don't know, it's a lot.
I mean, the good thing about the nerves, though, is that if you do play well, I feel like it's extremely satisfying after that long of a run to like still have a really good perfect run. Like that's gotta be that's gotta be nice.
I mean, I already said it, but that's the thing about Perfect Run is like it's infamous for being one of the hardest Mario levels in history. But as far as speedrunning goes, like as long as you just learn each individual planet and you just like know how everything works, especially with the Hammer Bros at the end. It is literally just a muscle memory level. Like you just have to clear your head and just like kind of zone in. And like as long as you don't overthink what the hell is going on, it's kind of just a straight shoot to the end. It's really not that. It's still very stressful because of like the factor of if you die, you lose your run. But in a vacuum, it's not that hard of a level anymore, at least for me.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. When I was this is kind of like not deep Hex speedruns lore, but when I used to do a lot of like relays. We would have like 540 relays, 1862 relays. And during the 1862 relay, which is all the Mario games 100%, I was running Galaxy 2 and I lost 5 minutes at the end of perfect run and lost PB, and that feeling that I felt after like losing PB to perfect run in a relay where my team needed me to do well, like genuinely I was like so like physically afterwards, like I could feel myself like shaking, and that experience wasn't the greatest, and that kind of tainted everything with me. Also, just knowing the pressure that I've never failed the perfect run in a 602, like I don't need that. But it's just a lot of pressure at the end of the day, and I feel like it's unfortunate that it has to be that way because like the 602 really is a good time. But you know, the competitiveness aspect was an amazing thing for me, but it eventually like consumed me, and it just made it not fun.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's definitely very long. The closest thing I've done to a 602 is like all moons. So
Yeah,
it's not very
Hex
comparable.
loves all.
Even with all moons, like I've been trying to do it since my first one without doing breaks for any of them. Since like it's not like I can definitely do that. The thing with all moons is I did a run like a couple days ago actually, because at 9 p.m. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do all moons run because that sounds like a great idea. And then like by 3 a.m. like I just I'm so done. But I finished the run out because I was like, it's too far now. And then I got like a 5-minute PB, which isn't like what I really wanted. But yeah, all means is it's definitely nothing compared to 602. But even something like that, like I struggle with like being able to focus for the whole run unless it's like in the morning and I'm like my mind is kind of clear. So
That's interesting that you say that you like really want to try and do it without any breaks, because for me, when all moons didn't have that break rule, I was not a fan of it. Like I was like, this is a cool category, like I really do like it, but the fact that I have to play for 8 hours straight with no breaks at all and like how little downtime Odyssey has, I can't like it. And then when they allow you to take a break halfway through and pause your timer, I was like, oh, I'm going in. Like I love all moons now. It's a great category. So I honestly think, I mean, if you really are that committed to trying to do RTA, then go for it. But I think you should definitely try to focus more on just getting better, even if that means taking a break, rather than focusing so hard on that arbitrary goal of doing an RTA.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
I personally just love the fact that you can take a break in a run that long.
I feel like the 602, there's like two major goals, and it's do it sleepless, do it sub day. And so, it makes sense like wanting to get that sleepless. But I think what Odme's saying has a lot of merit to it. And, the break rules now are like really good with the 602, which I can't say the same for other categories. Solo 1545. But I think like it's really acceptable not acceptable, it's really accessible for new runners, which I'm that's all I really wanted, just more people to do the 602.
Yeah, like I don't know, I feel like it's just the no break thing is kind of just for the novelty. I want to try to get sub 8 without a break, like within like my first 6 or 7 all moons runs, because right now I've done 4 and I have an 8:20.
I don't even remember what my RTA is.
It's really bad. Yeah, I mean, I'd had to think about that for a second. I literally did it around like 2 days ago. But yeah, next time I'm not doing any more all moons runs at 9 p.m. though, because my last 2 were at 9 p.m. and
would not recommend.
It's not a good experience. Would not recommend that upon anyone. But the first 2 all moons runs I did at like 9 a.m. Those ones were actually very, very fun. So
and that is why I'm a morning streamer and speedrunner.
No,
me and Hex are like opposites.
Well, okay, because it's funny because I used to be a morning speedrunner and streamer as well, but I just think like I would if other people weren't streaming at that time. Just because, you know, it's no secret that I care about my stream a lot. I care about growth. I care somewhat about numbers as well. If somebody that I know is more popular and can steal like my audience is streaming at that time, then I'm not going to. So I've really just kind of like made my own time slot for better or for worse, like at fucking like night.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I watch streams like pretty much exclusively at night. Like, I don't really ever watch Twitch like in the morning when I wake up or anything. So
I used to be big on night stuff because I was a kid, and that was like the only time I could really do anything was like right after dinner and stuff. I would literally, oh my god, back when I had like an 11, 10-hour time in Galaxy 2, 242, I would literally start full 242 runs at 7 p.m. when I was like 14. Yeah. Because I was like, this is the only real time I can do it, so let's stay up until 5 in the morning. And then as I got older, I was like, I have more time to do shit in the morning. Let's do that instead, so I don't murder my sleep.
I think afternoon is good. Like I like afternoon. That's my compromise. Is like if I start streaming at like 4 or 5 p.m. That's like perfect.
That's what I always do. I'm always in the afternoon, mostly just because it kind of works out the best with my schedule usually. Whenever I'm not
I like
working.
morning because I want speedrunning and streaming to be the first thing I think about in my day and the first thing I do. If I wait too long to start my stream, I'm gonna lose the motivation and just not want to do it.
Really?
That's fair.
So like once I'm done with my stream, I can just be like, okay, that's done. Now I can just chill for the rest of the day. I don't have to constantly be thinking about, I need to stream later today. I just want it to be the first thing I do.
Yeah, I kind of just stream like whenever I feel like it, which is the nice thing about not having as many viewers. I think it's just like
people say this pretty often.
I don't have a schedule in terms of the days I stream. It's whenever I want, but I will always make it a morning thing. Having a schedule is too stressful for me.
Yeah, well, this does segue into the next question, which is kind of just the journey to Twitch partner for Hex, because that was cool. That was like the most I've definitely watched your streams is during that.
Speaking of age
time, mostly because it was Odyssey, but
yeah. So that actually, you know, I don't think people understand the gravity. I've wanted Twitch partner since I was in 7th grade. You know, people, I feel like at the end of the day, when they have speedrunning, there's like this one insanely huge goal that they have in the back of their mind for like what they want to accomplish, like what they want to do. For me, it was like, I'm not quitting, I'm not retiring, I don't care. I will be 40 and doing this shit. I need to be partner. Like, I don't need to be partner, but I really want to be a Twitch partner. That's like was my goal. That's like, you know, if I ever had motivation, if I ever like was down or something, like I always remember just that was the goal at the end of the day, is being partner. And I knew, like, I always had faith that one day I would get it done. And I would always just think about like, okay, you know, how will I react when I get partner? Like how am I gonna feel? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? Like
his reaction.
It's like PVs. Like when I'm thinking like, what am I gonna be like when I get sub hour? And it was literally nothing.
Yeah, like you think like, but like, you know, for wake up in the morning, go to bed. My goal one day I will be a Twitch partner. That's, you know, and I feel like I just was like in the right place at the right time. We had 5 of the partners on my channel, and that did a good boost to my numbers. That was what unlocked me the path to partner. And because of, you know, people, you know, some people might use that and say, oh, you only got partnered because of Final Departures was on your channel, like, you know. And while I'm not gonna lie and say that did help, like I'm not gonna say it didn't help. The work after really came from the fact that for 3-4 years I was networking, and, you know, I had friends and people who wanted to support me. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I can only do so much. I can't like bring someone in front of a computer and force them to watch my stream. So, you know, the fact that people were like willing to help me out, I maybe sometimes wasn't vocal about how much I appreciated it, but, you know, it was like a huge thing for me. But that happened, and, you know, afterwards was the hard part about being a multi-Mario streamer is there's like so many things you can do, and like people want to watch different things. And I remember that back in like 2022, when I first started to get a decent amount of viewers, maybe like 30, 40, I was playing all moons, so I knew people like that, and I always liked Odyssey. I liked all moons; it's a fun category. So I did that, and I really just kind of hit the ground running. People really liked it. I had a consistent stream schedule, and I got to a point where I was hitting the average. And part of me in my head, the thing about partner grind is it's so toxic, and even Odme can tell you this. Like, partner grind is so toxic, not just because of other people, but like for your mental. It doesn't, like, you're never safe. You feel like there'd be
you
like every
mentally.
stream. There was a time where every stream I got above 70 average for like 25 days, and I was always like, I'd be in class like almost shaking thinking about streaming, because it's like, okay, what if today's the day where it finally ends? Like, what if my good luck runs out and like from today on I only have 50 average, which 50 average is not bad, that's respectable, but like if you're trying to get partner, it's not going to suffice. And so that was always in the back of my mind. And so I had a time period where I did my first application for partner, and it didn't work. I got insta rejected, which, understandable. I just unlocked it, waited 2 weeks, did it again, and I got insta rejected again, even though I kept the average. And that bummed me out, because with partnership, there's like a email you'll get that either says, you need to have 75 average for at least 8 days over 2 consecutive months. And then there'll be one that's like, we see you're on the right track, apply again in like 4 to 6 weeks, or like 2 to 4 weeks. And I was hoping that I would get that letter, because they look for how many people raid you, and I get a decent amount of raids, and that's not my fault, obviously. Like, I was very happy about it, but obviously raids don't count, so I needed to find a way to get people to click off. And I was worried that like Twitch would be like, we see you're getting raided a lot, because they did that to someone else. Like, they said that you're getting raided a lot, and that was like a reason they didn't give you partner. So that scared me. But it came to the third application, and I waited a month between the second and the third. And at that point, like, my 2-month average was like 80 or something. And I send out a application, and it takes a week. And I'm like, okay, the longer they take, the better it is, because, they're actually considering it. And then I get a response while I'm on a podcast episode that said that my account was in violation of rule number 2, which had to deal with the age limit on Twitch. You cannot be on Twitch if your account was made when you're 12. Doesn't matter if you're not 12 now, but if you apply for partner with an account that's made when you were 12, you won't be able to get partner. And they thought that I was below 12, and I got really scared, because I was 13 and a half when I made my account. But it's like, oh, what if, I made my account on, like, it's, you always start thinking about the what if. But that happened, and then I was really sad about that. But because combined with the fact that I said before, like, I didn't know when my luck was going to run out, I was just stressed. And one day I get it sorted out because of someone else telling me like what to do, and we got that sorted out, and I reapply again, and I'm like, if this isn't it, then I don't know what will be. Because for them to reject me because of age and not anything else, like, shows that they were seriously considering me for the position. But it was hard, but I got it, and dude, I was so happy. Like, I couldn't even believe it, because you ever, when you expect something like that to happen, there's like, you wake up and you just like feel like, okay, I think something good's gonna happen today. I was having a horrible day the Monday, May 6th, when I got partner. Like, I was having a horrible day. I don't think I did well on a quiz or like something like that. Like, but I get home and I start streaming, and like, I'm having a decent stream, like 70-ish viewers. And I get a call from my friend who shares an email with me because of Chegg. And when I saw I was getting a call from him, I'm like, oh my God. And I checked, and I got partner. And I was like, everything that I had planned over the 7 years instantly went out of my head. And I just like had like a, pretty feel good reaction. And for the next couple days, I just couldn't believe it. And even now, like, I can't believe it. No matter what happens, like, I know that in the end of the day, I achieved my goal, and that to me, like, is just amazing. Like, I have something that says that I'm obviously there's can be people who are good streamers that don't have partner, but like I have a badge that tells me that I'm the best of the best that Twitch has to offer, and like that makes me feel really good. And so anytime I look back, like I just have that reminder that I'm, Twitch considers me one of the best of the best, and that really makes me happy.
Yeah, that grind was very inspiring for sure.
I'm glad. I'm really glad that people found it inspiring. I was always worried that I was being like too annoying about it, but
makes his whole personality, man. God.
I had so much support from friends and even family. Like they were goated for having no objections to my streaming schedule or anything like that.
Yeah, I was basically the main reason he got partner, because I was in call all the time during his streams. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have partner. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Odme and Neil were the goats for that, because they stayed in my stream and voice chatted with me while I was on partner grind, and it was super cool.
And then once he got partner, he didn't need me anymore. So
yeah, I kicked him to the curb.
Yeah, he got too famous for you.
Yeah,
unfortunate. All right, so we talked a little about pace earlier. I'm kind of curious, actually. What were your guys' first in-person speedrun events? When did you first meet each other, too?
Okay.
Well, I'll start, because Hex just waffled for 8 hours.
Okay, don't say that.
My first event was actually Pace Summer last year, 2023.
Oh, same.
I tried to go to HDQ 2020, because that was the first one I could have gone to. And then, of course, they decided to move it to Florida, the one time I can actually go. So I was like, well, guess I'll just wait. And then COVID happened. I was like, well, fuck my life. And then, like, I was actually going to go to Pace 2020. I think it was still a weekend event at the time. It was like Memorial Day weekend or something, Pace 2020. And then COVID happened, so I couldn't go anymore. But that was a lot more likely than HDQ because it was in Maryland. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to this. And literally the only reason I couldn't was because of COVID. So 2023 finally comes around. I know, like, I didn't really feel like going to Pace Fall 2022 just because, like, it was either the fact that I just either couldn't or I just really didn't want to for some reason. It also didn't help that I got COVID literally the days, like, before it started. So I was, like, not feeling good at all. But after the week was over, people were talking about how great it was. Like it was a really small event. I think Hex, was it even
22? Yeah, right.
Was it even 100 people?
I think it was just over 100.
Yeah, it was a pretty small event, but everybody was talking about.
It was really cool. It was awesome. It was awesome. It just really, like, because it was so small, like everyone felt so personable. Like talking to like Simply was crazy. Like meeting Cheese. Well, I met Cheese at Glitch Infinite, which was my first speedrunning event. Glitch Infinite is
Glitch was like kind of a demo for Pace almost.
Yeah.
He's like,
and that's what it was. Yeah.
I think it was King James too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were talking about how cool Pace was, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna go to a speedrunning event, I'll try to go to Pace just because that's closer. It'll be cheaper. So I asked my parents for my birthday present, even though my birthday's in March. I was like, hey, can you just pay for my hotel room for this event in Maryland? And they're like, you really want to go for the whole week? Trying to talk themselves out of paying $750 for hotel. I was like, yep, I want to meet my friends. So they were like, fine. So my dad just drove me up and dropped me off for the week. And it was my first event. And I got to meet Hex and literally everybody that I had known for many years. And apparently there was a lot of drama there. I didn't really experience any of it.
We can leave that one out.
I know. Obviously leave it out. But like a lot of people just like didn't have the greatest time. But for me personally, I thought it was an amazing time, even though I still dealt with my own personal things that happened during that week. But like, I don't know. I think I was just very overwhelmed by the fact that I was actually at an event like this for the first time and meeting all these people. And I'm actually glad that Pace was my first event and not GDQ, because I am a pretty socially anxious person. So the fact that I was at a smaller event like that with people that I knew, rather than a huge event like GDQ with less people that I knew, it definitely helped a lot. And then after that, I was like, well, I gotta go to the next one. So then I went to Pace Fall, not for the whole week. I went from the first day to like Thursday, and then I left. That was still a great time. It's a lot more chill. Pace Fall is definitely a lot a lot less chaotic than the summer events. But
Yeah,
Pace
it
Summer
was.
2024
Yep.
was fucking amazing.
It was really good.
It was
awesome.
Yeah.
definitely
It was
the
awesome.
best event. Definitely the best event
Yeah.
I've been to. And I went to SGDQ literally a month later. And SGDQ is also great, but Pace was definitely.
Pace was just different because of all of our friends being there. Like,
Yeah. Like SGDQ, my worst fears definitely came true when it came to GDQ because I got there on the first day. I walked in this big ass hotel. I didn't know anyone there. I was like, I'm going to my room. I'm just gonna sit here for 3 hours until Hex gets here.
Yeah.
And like and Emerald got there, Hex got there, and like all my friends got there, and then I was back to vibing. But those first few hours of GDQ were terrifying because it is such a like conglomerate. It's such a giant event. And it's like you don't know as many people. Whereas with Pace, it's smaller, but you know almost everybody there. Like
Yeah.
it also helps that I'm like low key one of the more popular people at Pace, so I get more attention. I don't have to do the job of walking up to more people and talking to them. More people come up and talk to me, so I don't have to really have that stress.
Dude.
But with GDQ, I definitely had to do that more.
Yeah.
Odme brings that up, being like the more popular Pace. That is kind of real. Like, I didn't realize how different it was. Like, us at Pace versus us at GDQ. Like GDQ, we had to like constantly introduce. At Pace, like I feel like everyone just knew us, or at least, you know, I can only really speak for me. It felt like everyone knew me, at least. Like literally, like the last day for fucking pictures, I had like people lined up and wanted to take a picture with me. I thought it was funny.
People were lining up to take pictures with everybody because the thing about these events is nobody remembers to take pictures until the very last day. So it's like, all right, speedrun photo day. Like, let's just walk up to everybody.
And it was like a backdrop. It was like a backdrop as well. I don't know. It was pretty cool. But like, you know, I think it is cool. Like there's like a little bit of like, it's like the best of both worlds where it's like Pace, you know, I was more popular, but also like it kept growing. So
yeah, I do hope Pace gets bigger, and I hope they can move to a different location because that's the big reason a lot of people don't go to Pace is because Laurel is terrible.
Don't say that.
No, I think it's a great location. It's like 20 minutes from my aunt's house. You know, I can just like go, not pay for a hotel if I don't need to, if I don't want to. It's like,
however,
it's kind of perfect for me.
As much as I wish they'd move, I wish they don't move it out of the Maryland, Virginia area because for me, like it's a 3-hour drive for me.
Same,
so it's like, it's
a 15-minute drive for me.
all right, man. But yeah, Pace and GDQ definitely have their own strengths and weaknesses. I definitely like Pace more for the reasons I already mentioned, but GDQ, since it's more established, more people go to it that you don't get to see at Pace. Like I got to finally meet 360 Chrism for the first time at GDQ, which was like I was starstruck, man. Like all these years later, even though I've like known him for so long and like talked to him a bunch, like still actually meeting my inspiration for the first time was a crazy thing.
That was kind of with me and Trihex at Glitch. I got to talk to Trihex and I was like so scared. I think I said like 3 words to him.
It was so funny. I went to I think it was the night that Kurzum did his Galaxy Kaizo showcase at GDQ. I actually went to dinner with him and Bird 650's group. And Bird is a total homie. He actually lives like 20 minutes away from me, so I get to see him whenever I want, which is really cool. But like his group went out to dinner and I went with them to Hell's Kitchen, and I was like dude, I'm sitting next to 360 Chrism and across from Bird 650. My parasocial chart is off the it's off the radar.
It was.
I was very happy that day.
No, it's chill.
Yeah, I think a lot of sorry.
Yeah, with Pace, there's definitely a lot less of that because like it's definitely more about meeting my close friends. Because with Pace, like there were like pretty much our whole friend group was at Pace. It was like a dream coming true for Pace.
It was
seeing all those people, and I got to meet some great new people who became like part of our main group at GDQ. IC4,
Dinohack and IC4.
Yeah, those two. I kind of met Dinohack a bit at Pace Fall, but I didn't really talk to him that much. And then at Pace Summer, I met him properly and Icy, and then they became like 2 of our best friends. And we really were in such a good group at GDQ afterward.
Yeah, I think a lot of the like people knowing you more at Pace too does come from Multi-Mario, especially because I feel like Multi-Mario always has a really good showing at Pace.
like you can't really dance around the fact that Pace is a Mario event.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're really trying. They're trying so hard to branch out, but at the end of the day, like they know Mario's gonna bring in the viewers.
Yeah.
So I think it will always be like a Mario centered thing, which is good because, like, you know, there's more people that I know going. Like throwing out the whole fact that I'm just more well known at Pace than at GDQ. There's more people that I know at Pace because it's so Mario centric. Yeah. But I do hope that it does get bigger. Like this most recent Pace had like almost 500 people, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think
4 Lego LTAs or some shit.
Yeah,
dude,
4 LTAs for Mario. Yeah.
You know what? I don't like just giving shit to other speed games I've never played, but the fact that they started like 4 hours of Lego, bro, I was like, this is the worst schedule of all time.
Yeah, dude, the scheduling for Summer Pace is crazy. Like, I feel like everything was Mario, too. Like, there was only one non-Mario LTA. And then this coming Pace, this fall Pace, I think it has a lot less Mario, which kind of balances that out. Like, I think it's mostly Thursday and Friday.
This is the first time for Pace where I have no clue what the LTAs are going to be.
Yeah,
I usually get word of what they are ahead of time, but I don't really know at all what they're going to be. I think there might be a Sonic one, because there almost always is, because they got Drum Basher on staff, who is the fucking GOAT for always getting Sonic rep at Pace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drum Basher.
Yeah, I have no clue what any of the LTAs are going to be, so I hope they surprise me.
I definitely was a culprit when it came to leaking the Odyssey LTA, because at fall pace last year, after my all coin stacks run, the person who was helping with streaming tech, who I don't remember his name, but he was really, really cool guy. He had a very distinct, like, Australian accent or something. But he told me, like, yo, by the way, there might be an Odyssey LTA next Pace. So then naturally I told, like, everyone that I saw that there might be an Odyssey LTA next Pace.
There might be an Odyssey LTA.
There may be an Odyssey LTA next Pace. So I literally, like, told, like, some of my closest friends that, like, before next Pace was even announced, because they told me it early. And then they also told me the dates, like, the day early, which is when they got that right, I was like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I definitely think in terms of, like, the Pace event itself, like, besides all the meeting people, I think Pace is still a great event.
Yeah.
I think I definitely like watching it more than GDQ. I can't remember the last time I sat down and watched a GDQ run besides this most recent SGDQ. I think I was in the stream room at GDQ for maybe 3 runs. One of them was Chrism's Kaizo thing. Then the other one was the Peanut Butter Dog run for baseball, which was
one was
insanely high. That was insane.
It was like it should not have been as good as it was.
Yeah, and then the finale. And those are like the 3 times I was in the stream room. But for Pace, I would find myself actually sitting down and watching runs more often than I would think I did.
I think I saw you in the
also
audience.
we had a lot of friends there.
Yeah, and I also got to I did a run at Pace Summer last year. I did Kirby in the Forgotten Land, which, like, that was another speed game that had, like, a little mini arc for me. It was fun, but I definitely don't plan on running it anymore. That run was at, like, oh my god, it was like 4:30 in the morning. I was not having it. And then I get Penny's Big Breakaway into this most recent Pace, also at like 4 in the morning. I'm like, well, I hate everything. However, I was able to negotiate it to get to like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. on the schedule. But Pace is known for, I mean, all speedrunning events are known for falling behind. So it was actually like 2. I was like, damn, nobody's going to fucking watch this. I'm going to be, like, miserable. But thankfully, there's actually, like, a really big turnout to the event, which made me really happy to see that many people watching me. And that run went really well. I was pretty happy with my Penny run at Pace. And then Hex did his Galaxy run. My god, that was a journey.
That was fun. That run was
6 hours
was one of the runs. That run
it was
like
120 star, and it started at 1 in the morning. Yeah. And I commentated that
6-hour category, by the way.
And I was like, I was actually delirious halfway through that run. I was saying stuff that made absolutely no sense. And Hex called me out, and I was like, I didn't say that. And he was like, yes, you did. And I was like, oh my god, I did. Like, it felt like I was drunk, like, talking like that, because I was actually just so tired. Because the thing about those events is you get no sleep. You literally get no sleep during those events. So I was completely off my rocker, sleep deprived that whole run. And then we walked back to the hotel like 7 in the morning, and I was just dead. Like I wanted to pass out, and that's exactly what I did when I got back.
This last summer pace on Friday, by the time I got to Friday, I was so tired. I literally like fell asleep on the floor of the venue, just like watching Buster do like Koopa free running. And then like Pepper took a picture of me, of course, and made its PFP for like 2 weeks, which is great. But then I woke up and Buster was like, "Oh yeah, I got like .01 off cap Koopa free running record or something," which is like that.
I mean, Hex did the same thing. That man went behind the black curtains and took a nap for like an hour and a half. And Rory was like, "Where did you go?"
Yeah. I will be honest, last fall pace, they moved my altcoin section to like 1 a.m. Well, they added it like a week or two before the event, and they're like, "Yo, can you still do this at 1 a.m.?" And I was like, yeah, actually that works somehow. So like I was not going to pay for the hotel, so I just like took a nap on the couch for like 3-4 hours, which is definitely frowned upon, but like it's their fault.
I don't think it's frowned upon to sleep on the couch.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that.
It was only for like 3 hours too, like, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. But,
yeah, thankfully the pace fall schedule this coming one looks a lot better than the pace summer one. I like it a lot more. And Hex's run submitted without telling me he was putting me on comms, by the way. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. It's at 8 p.m.
That's like perfect. Wait, that's perfect.
No, I'm saying it as a good thing. It's at 8 p.m. It's a 3-hour run. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah,
no
that's
more
really
of this.
Really good time slot. My time slot's good to this space. I got Kaiser mode in at 8 a.m., which is also pretty good.
That.
Yeah, I did get Hex on commentary that. I needed someone that's gonna just like be mind blown at everything. So it was gonna be King J, but he's not going anymore. So I was like, okay, Hex is the obvious alternative, I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm always just the commentator. Like they did the same thing for the Sonic Heroes LTA. Like I've ran Sonic Heroes.
That was so dumb. The fact that they got you on there last minute was hilarious. Like literally day 0 of pace, we walk into this hotel room full of Sonic people to say hi to them, and one of the people for the I forget if they were a runner or not, but like
they were not a runner. They were.
They walk up to Hex and was like, "Yeah, one of our commentators got sick."
It was Drum. It was Drum.
No, it was Drum.
It was Drum. Yeah.
Drum walked up to Hex and was like, "Yeah, one of our commentators got sick. Do you think you could fill it?" He was like, "Sure, man." Literally like the day before.
Yeah.
And then
crazy.
I commentated Freezy's run as well. That was like the best run I've ever had the privilege of commentating.
Freezy's
It was like I saw someone PB and get a 10-minute barrier in front of everyone at 8 a.m. Like it was.
I really like those early. No, I don't like 4 to 6 a.m. runs, but once you get past like 8, I like those 8 a.m., 9 a.m. morning runs.
Yeah,
those are a vibe.
The problem with pace, and this is this is pretty much just pace, I think, where this is the problem. But because there are the LTAs obviously every day, like if you have a showcase run, there's like a 60% chance it's going to be between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., which is just not a great time. Like, and you're not going to, unless you are a big name, you probably aren't going to get much of a crowd for it, unless it's like a really cool run. So that does kind of suck. But last summer pace, like when I did the darker race and there was a whole crowd, like it is such a cool feeling when there's like so many people watching you. It's sick.
I've always unfortunately like had bad time slots. One time I had a Sonic Colors run at like I think it was like 7 in the morning. And my Galaxy run was also at 7 in the morning. And then, the one was at 1 a.m. So it's like I've never really had like super huge crowd behind me when I'm doing a run, but commentating though, that's different.
Yeah,
because I commentated Penny's Big Breakaway at SGDQ, ran by Mildew, and Emerald was also commentating, King J was commentating, and we went to this house party the night before, and we had to go home. We had to go back to the hotel early because our run was at it was scheduled for 7:30 in the morning. We were like, oh my god, it's gonna be so miserable. In the car ride to the hotel, I look at the schedule and it gets delayed by an hour, and we just start popping off. We were like, yes, we get to sleep. And then we woke up and commentated in front of a lot of people, and I was like,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's always a blast whenever there's a lot of people. And then I'm not sure if you guys saw, but at the darker race, Autumn, one of my good friends, paid me $20 to do spin throw U skip at the end,
Oh,
the end
no.
of Darker Side. So then I practiced spin throw U skip for an hour before the run because the last thing I want is to fail spin throw U skip at the very end of my Darker race and lose like 4 minutes. Like I would have probably just walked off stage. That would not have been good. But I got like really consistent at it. And then when I got that, it was like the most electric moment I've ever been in. And then every other runner on stage, when they got normal U skip, people went crazy for that too. And it was like I started like a thing there, and it was really, really sick.
U skip is like the most hype skip that saves about not even like a second.
Yeah.
It's such a dumb trick, but you can't not go for it unless you're Hex.
And then spin throw U skip's like it's so much stupider to go for because it saves like it saves like 0.1 if you do it well, and it's like you're probably gonna kill the run unless you're like stupidly good at it. So yeah, that was the sickest moment of any base for me, and it was literally just U skip, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that was pretty sick. The Odyssey crowd kind of popped off this last base. I'm really happy they did too, because there's definitely gonna be more Odyssey runners like every summer pace, I feel like, which is really sick.
I honestly had weird expectations for the Odyssey LTA because I was like, oh my god, it's just gonna be Tyron like killing everybody, and then it's a competition for second place. And that's kind of what it was, you know, but it was cool to still see a big turnout for it, and it was still hype. It just sometimes you really just wish he wasn't so good.
Yeah, he was kind of crazy. He didn't do as good as I thought he would do, honestly, in LTA. I mean, he got a 56 on his first run.
Yeah, like, he got a 56 immediately, and I was like, he can just walk off stage and be done.
Yeah, like, he could have been. But I was honestly like, expecting like him to get like a 56 1x or like within 2 seconds of his PB, because like the week before that, he was getting like basically tied PBs like within 10 seconds of PB like every stream. I'm honestly really surprised no one PB'd in the LTA, because everyone was like really like going crazy before that. Lucid had a pacer during pace like 2 days before, and he just had a crowd of like 40 people around him watching his pacer. Chaos Sprinkle was giving updates in on pace Odyssey. It was funny.
Dude, oh my god, the Odyssey relay with everybody screaming at like every single thing that happened was probably the dumbest thing I've seen at pace, but it was so funny to watch.
Yeah, dude, that was like a great disaster of an event that I hosted.
So I'm doing my own thing in the venue, and I would just hear a whole crowd scream their heads off every 5 seconds. Like, what is going on over there that's that hype for Odyssey?
We're doing the 16v16 relay. For any viewers who don't know, and you can watch it on my channel, but the quality is pretty bad. The stream quality was not great. My computer could not handle that.
Trying to stream at an event is impossible.
Yeah,
like, that's why we got the High Thorn emote.
We did get the High Thorn from pace.
Yeah, but it was crazy how big that crowd was though. Like, there's a lot of people watching that weren't even in the event, which I wasn't expecting. I did a smaller event last fall pace. Which Hex was in. One of the few people that was in that. That one was a lot smaller. We couldn't even get 16 people. We had to do 14. That one was kind of testing the grounds, and I got like 3 viewers on my stream for that, which is less than I normally get, which surprised me. So I honestly was not expecting the summer pace one to be like too big, but then I got like 60 or 70 viewers, I think, for that one, which was definitely a massive increase. Unfortunately, the stream quality was a lot worse than it was at fall, because we were streaming 2 games and everything. But it was like the actual like in-person part of it was definitely a lot of fun, for sure. But yeah, pace is awesome. Are you guys both going to fall? Or?
I'm going to fall.
Yep.
Nice. I'm going.
He's trying to weasel his way out and go to.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to Expo. I'm not going to Expo.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing that's a bit rough for all the Sonic people. There's an event called Sonic Expo that happens the last 3 days of pace fall, basically. So all the Sonic runners are like, yeah, I'll probably either go for the first half of the week or just not go at all, because they want to go to Sonic Expo. Like Emerald, who's one of my best friends, he's debating even going to pace at all, because he is a Sonic content creator. That is like his thing. So he basically needs to go to Sonic Expo. It's almost like a business thing for him. So it's kind of unfortunate, the timing. It's probably always going to be like that because last year Pace Fall also intersected with Sonic Expo. So it'll probably be like that from now on, which sucks. But I am definitely going for the full week.
Yeah,
I'll probably be going for the full week as well.
I'm probably going like Thursday to Saturday for sure.
Those are the best days to go, I
Yeah.
will say, because I didn't go to Sonic Expo last year, but I did have to leave early just because of school stuff. So I just went home with Emerald and Dawn. They just dropped me off before leaving, and then, but the fact that I didn't go the full week didn't really change the fact that it was still fun. It's just the fact that a lot of the people that I wanted to meet again didn't arrive until the last 3 days of the event.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's some major FOMO for an event that I was already just at.
I'm lucky that Fall Pace kind of usually lands on a week where I have school off Friday, and this year I have a 12 o'clock dismissal on Thursday, which is weird because my school never does.
This
early
Fall Pace
dismissals.
gotta go crazy, man. It's during election week.
Oh yeah,
Don't say that.
Yeah,
Make a trip up to DC on Tuesday.
yeah, that's. I'm not gonna be there those few days, so that might be a good thing. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, the Fall Pace it's definitely a different vibe than Summer Pace. It feels, I don't know, it feels like I know less people there usually, but there's still like some people that I know there to where it's still like super comfortable environment.
It's a lot more chill.
Yeah, so I just got to meet, like last Fall Pace, I just got to meet a lot of new people I'd never known before, whereas last Summer Pace, it was mostly people that I've at least like interacted with before. Like I met Needle, Druz, like a lot of cool people at Fall Pace, especially everyone in the relay that signed up
And
for
the
that.
weather is so much better, too. You're not getting absolutely cooked walking to the venue every time.
Yeah, fall weather is just the best season objectively. I feel like that might be a hot take.
No,
I don't
it
know.
is.
I don't think it is.
Summer sucks.
Yeah, summer is very hot for sure.
That's why I wish... I hope Pace does get bigger to the point where they can do what GDQ does, which is have the venue and hotel in the same building.
Yeah.
Because that's just the best thing about GDQ is the convenience of it. The fact that you can just walk downstairs and go to the venue whenever you want,
cool.
it's so nice. Whereas with Pace, you can't, like, unless you want to walk the streets of Laurel, Maryland at 3 a.m. and almost die.
That is
like,
scary. I've done that. That was
scary.
scary.
It's
yeah.
very scary. But I do hope Pace can get to that point at some point.
Yeah, Pace is it's definitely growing every summer for sure. Like
it's more about the money aspect rather than just like attendance, because I mean it's not a big corporation like GDQ. It's ran by like a few people, so they definitely gotta save up some money.
Yeah, how many people attend GDQ? Like what are, I can't even imagine.
This most recent one had
500.
This most recent one had 2,500 about.
Yeah, that's definitely much bigger than Pace for sure. But I assume that building is also like a lot bigger.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure the lobby
really
of that
big.
hotel is bigger than the Pace venue.
That is crazy. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, GDQ definitely. It definitely looks a lot bigger in space too. Like whenever I see pictures of it and stuff.
It is. It's
yeah.
a huge lobby. It's got like a freaking arcade, which I got stuck in that arcade until 5 a.m. because those games were so addicting. Like I was like, I'll go in here for maybe like an hour and then go to bed. 30 minutes later, it was like 5 hours had passed. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to sleep. But yeah, GDQ definitely, in terms of like the sheer quality of where you are, is better for sure. But Pace, I think, is the better event.
Pace is, I think it's just a lot
opinion.
more tight knit between people in general. Like it makes sense.
Like if I had the quality of like the GDQ hotel for a pace event,
it would be unbeaten speedrunning event. It would be the perfect speedrunning event.
Yeah, no one would beat that. It'd probably be like a lot more expensive though, but yeah, it would be pretty.
Well, Best
cool.
Western actually upped their prices for Pace Fall probably on purpose because they fucking hate us after.
Dude, yeah, that's true. People are getting noise complaints.
Do not live
all
with
the
your
time.
own failure.
Yeah, it was.
We're not going back to the sleep in, Hex. We already got our fucking room.
Wait, in Best Western?
Yeah.
Why?
We got our Best Western room, bro.
Oh my god. You know what? That's fair. I can just walk to the sleep in, bro.
I like how you're saying why as if you haven't been in this group chat. With
Dude,
our
I don't
roommates.
check the damn group chat.
Yeah, Best Western.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited
there
for
are a lot of
pace.
noise complaints for sure.
That lady was out for blood.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on, we have a couple fan questions.
Yo, let's go! I love these. I love these.
Episode. The first one is specifically for Hex.
Okay.
And this question was asked by Odme.
Oh no!
What?
Why?
Huh? No. This is fake. What
He
the hell
wants,
is
is
it?
he wants to know when are you oiling up on stream?
I did not ask that. What the fuck?
Did you not?
No.
Dude, okay, someone. Well,
What the hell is this?
Someone's pretending to be you. Then I don't know.
When I get Twitch Partner Plus, I'll oil up on stream.
All right, man.
man.
That was
I'm not even pushing for it. When I get level 3 Partner Plus, the 300 sub points, I'll oil up on stream. You have a HexSpeedrun certified promise.
so. For those who don't know the lore behind that, when Hex got partner, he did a Q&A where people could just ask him literally anything. He didn't exactly have a good filter on what you could and could not ask. He also didn't limit how many questions you could ask.
I got
This
asked
one
about oil up on
jackass
stream like
just decided to ask,
7 times in a
when are you
row.
oiling up on stream 500 times? And he ran that bit into the ground. He
It
would
was
not
funny.
cap
It
the
was
questions.
funny. It was funny.
In his mod chat, we were like, dude, you gotta stop. Like, this is getting so
I thought it was funny.
I mean, I thought it was funny for the YouTube video at least, but the stream probably was like 5 times as long. So, yeah.
All right, next
All right,
question.
next question is from Smutty, who wants to know, what do you think about 2D Mario speedrunning? Is it great or rather limited by its lower dimensions for both of
Well,
you?
I can answer this because I have ran 2D Marios before. Because
Hold on. Don't act high and mighty, so have I.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
In 2022, I prepared for a multi-Mario run that is basically, at the time, every single Mario game, which was like, Mario 1, Mario 2, Lost Levels, Mario 3, World, all the 602 games, plus 3D World and Odyssey, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii and U. All those games. I only know how to run 6 of them, which is the 602 stuff and all the other 3D games. I had never ran the 2D games at all, so I had to learn those from scratch, and I can give pretty good reviews on all of them. NSMB Wii, that's pretty good.
It's a fun one. I've ran NSMB Wii also. It is fun. Suffers from 3D World syndrome where you have to keep a power up.
You do have to keep one power up. NSMBU, not as good, but I think it's still okay. Mario World is great. I love that game. Great casual game, great speed game. However, Mario 1, well, actually, I can talk about Mario 3. I don't really have much of an opinion on that because I just learned the wrong warp, because it's literally just beat all those games as fast as you can. So I just did the wrong warp. It's like 5 minutes long. It's not really that fun. But Mario 1, Mario 2 USA, and Lost Levels, dog shit. I hated running those games. I never want to play them again. They were so bad. I don't see the appeal to those 2D games at all. Like, they are just not fun. Like, I don't think I'll ever run them again because the thing is about that run is my PB is outdated. It's not on the leaderboard anymore because Wonder came out. So if I wanted to keep that record, I'd have to relearn all those games.
They got rid of all the leaderboard?
I did. Like, every time a new game comes out. Because it's obsolete.
Archive it, man.
We did archive it in like a Google Sheet.
That's good.
And then we deleted it.
But like, oh my god, bro.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, when Wonder came out, we couldn't really keep those because there was a new game. So console series any percent didn't make sense without Wonder. So we archived the old runs. So if I wanted to get that record back, I'd have to relearn all those horrible 2D games and Wonder on top of that, which I have seen Wonder speedruns. Not a fan.
Yeah, Wonder that could be a whole discussion right there. Wonder was not as good as us.
Yeah, Wonder.
Bro, that game died after like a month.
Yeah.
Fall off of Wonder needs to be studied. But I think I've ran Yoshi's Island a bit, and that game is fun. But I think 2D is severely limited. Like, unless you're like looking to save frames, like it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think 2D speedrunning it's impressive in its own right, but I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, it's not something I would speedrun, but I can see the appeal for like other people for sure. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Shout outs to Darby, and that's my goat.
Yeah. Wonder is the thing with Wonder though is I feel like it would be good if there wasn't so many cutscenes. That's my biggest problem with it.
It's
Yeah.
too long for a 2D game. That's my main gripe with it,
Yeah.
just without anything else involved. The glitches ruin it, and I don't feel like running all Royal Seeds because that's also very long. So
Yeah.
the thing is, if I were to learn Wonder for that multi-game run again, is I would have to learn any percent with all the glitches and shit, and that's just like, God, it's so lame.
Yeah, I remember they were like saying in the speedrunning server, like, make sure that you don't that you turn off auto updates. And I was just like, dude, honestly, I don't care about this game enough to even do that. If they update it, then I won't do the glitches anymore. And then they updated it, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really care. Like, it was, yeah. It wasn't even worth my time to go into Switch settings for that game, so yeah.
All right, I think we can get the next one.
Well,
If there is a next
yeah,
one.
that's it. So yeah, that kind of ends off the episode there, I guess.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
That was very fun.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to yap.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. 2 hours and 5 minutes,
Yeah,
which is
pretty long.
crazy.
Pretty
It always
good.
blows
Yeah,
my mind how
didn't feel
quickly
like
these
it.
go by.
Yeah, as we kept fucking yapping, it's mainly Hex because he always yaps. As he kept
Okay, bro.
talking, I was like, doesn't Zach have like questions that we have to answer?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean-
know. It was fun to just talk.
Yeah, at this point I just put like topics to like discuss
Yeah.
at that point. So most of them already like just kind of naturally work, and then whenever like there's like an awkward dry silence, I just kind of like ask one of them that hasn't been mentioned.
Well, yeah,
yet.
I actually intentionally went silent for a bit to see if you
Yeah, me too.
had something
Yeah.
else to say.
Trust me, it hurt me a lot, but I went silent.
Yeah, this man's king. He's like the mayor of the town of Yap. So he.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, that's exactly what I wanted. Irene was like I told Irene, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have, I think I'm gonna ask Hex for like this episode, and Irene was like, okay, be ready for like a 5-hour episode.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, okay, cool, that's perfect. I mean, the less preparation I have to do, it's always bad when it's like I ask a question, they give like a 1-minute answer, and then I'm like, shit, dude, how am I gonna keep this episode going for a long time? But yeah, well, before we end the episode, I'm going to announce episode 5 guest for anyone who watched this long, and that is going to be GhostSR.
Nice.
Ghost TSR.
Ghost TSR, yes.
We met him at Pace last year. He's cool.
Yeah, I met Matt Pace last year. He told, I remember he was telling you about how VGR was a trick jumper, and he was like scaring.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
he
Oh
was
my
scaring
God.
VGR. He was like, he's going to lock you in like a chamber and torture you or something. VGR was like, what? Yeah, that was interesting. Interesting way to meet you for sure. But yeah, that's gonna end off this episode. Everyone, make sure to check out Hex and Odme's socials. They'll be linked in the description below. And also check out my socials because I need viewers on Twitch too. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and that was the 4th episode of Speed Talk.
Bye.
Yeah.